Alrighty, so big drama. Big drama. I love me some League of Legends drama. Especially when the company itself is being stupid. So, you guys may or may not know this, but I hate League of Legends. I hate their guts. I hate that game. It's an addiction. It's 100% an addiction. I've been playing League of Legends since Season 3, and I remember specifically that it was when Vi was literally just coming out. And also, Zed had like one skin, and it was like the Storm Shadow skin. And I was getting shit on by Diamond players at the time. So, yeah. I've been playing League of Legends for a couple years now. It's an addiction. I hate the game. I hate the creators. Yeah, everything. Everything. So we're going to react to Asmongold reacting to Ludwig about this whole thing. I would have done Moist Critical, but I think Ludwig presents the information a lot better. Since Moist Critical kind of does it in a condensed fashion. So yeah, this will be an interesting reaction. And hopefully Asmongold has a lot more better things to say.
I heard this happen like maybe a little bit ago.
Two things I have to tell you before we start today's video.
What's the
first
first
one?
thing?
I'm keeping the mustache. Yeah, it's my Moist
cool.
Moguls playoff stash, and I'm rocking that shit all the way through, baby.
All right.
The second one, I'm not really a big fan of League of Legends, at least as a player. I had a short stint in Season 3 with my Fiddlesticks, but I retired at the
It's kind of funny that he started in Season 3 too. And Fiddlesticks was, Fiddlesticks, Season 3 was Zed time.
Literally, I did play one game of League of Legends, but other than that, I have never played League of Legends. Never.
proud rank of...
Actually, no, I was going to say he should probably play some more, but then again, League of Legends is an addiction that is a very bad one. And it'll ruin your life. Not going to lie.
of Bronze 3, and since then have not really touched the game. Except for one time where Tyler 1 yelled at me. And so I come to you today less as a fan of League of Legends and more so as a fan of esports, as an esports owner.
Same,
so
but not esports owner. I love watching League of Legends esports. Like, I think the absolute peak of League of Legends esports was 2017, 2018. And I will say that the music just made it even better. Like, Legends Never Die, I think, was around that time. Rise was around that time. Rise, one of the best songs. Like excellence. Excellence. That song. But yeah, those were for Worlds.
Everything I say with a grain of salt, and understand I'm not super ingrained with the scene. Having said that, there is some huge drama happening in the LCS that we need to talk about.
Yes.
But first, a quick word from the sponsor of today's video. All right, everybody, it's time to put on your big boy pants and start using a browser made for adults, which is why I'm happy to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Opera GX.
Yeah.
It's time to break up with your boring browser and move over to Opera GX. And I'm going to tell you three
Opera
reasons
GX
why
has
it's a
been
good
getting
idea.
a lot
The
more
first one is
ads
the most
out
important
recently.
feature. It's called
Very
GX
interesting.
Control. Basically, this allows you to throttle your CPU usage or RAM usage on your browser so that it's not destroying your computer like some other browsers. I pulled up a side-by-side comparison of Opera GX using GX Control and then a competing browser both playing a similar YouTube video. And it turns out that Opera GX uses a whole lot less CPU with that throttle feature. It also allows you to throttle upload speeds.
It's crazy how much space a browser can use. I remember I had to buy my mom a gaming PC just so she could have 400 tabs open at the same time.
Yo. Parents, especially if you have, like, older parents, and they don't understand the concept of, like, how much space is being taken up by the amount of tabs that they don't close. Like, my parents in general, 100 plus tabs. 100 plus. My mom in particular would ask, why is my computer so slow? Why is my phone so slow? And I would take a look at it. And I'd be like, Mom, why do you have so many tabs open? Why? Why do you have 100 tabs of shoes, Asian clothing, random news articles, like things that you looked up like last year? Why do you have these tabs open? Yeah.
which can be super convenient. Feature number 2 is the one I use the most. It's basically a picture-in-picture, but it is amazing. You click one single button on any YouTube video or stream, and instantly it's just a beautiful box in the corner of your screen that you can adjust the size of, and it stays open no matter what browser you're on. It also stays open even
Chrome
if you minimize out of the browser and you start working on a
Chrome should
Word doc
definitely
or
steal that.
PDF. Finally, I got to tell you about the Opera GX mods, which are super easy to install.
Is this like
You can
a
search through their
music
store. They
from
have
Yoshi's
hundreds and hundreds
Story?
of options. They even have a Ludwig mod, which I don't know why 2,000 people
Why
have
they make him
downloaded it,
but
but it looks like they.
Yeah.
True.
Well,
Just
why they
noticed.
do that to him?
Basically, the mod allows you to have a little fun. Anytime you open a browser or type on your keyboard or close a browser or click a window, it'll make a custom sound. And you don't just have to use the Ludwig mod, they also have it for lo-fi, Game Boy sounds, a whole load of stuff that I'm sure you'll find one that is suited to your
Opera
taste.
GX is very
And if you click my link in the
Pretty
description,
cool.
you'll have access to GX Corner, which will not only show you some cool games that might be coming out, but also my 12 most recent
I have
YouTube
a-
videos. So you'll never
I
miss
really
an upload,
don't have a reason to use
which you
Opera
definitely
GX.
will not want
Like
to
I have
do
a good
if you
enough
love watching
computer.
Mogul Mail. So do me a favor and download
I
the
don't
link
really
in the
have a reason to
description.
use it.
Get started with a better browser today. Opera GX, thank you for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to it. And if you don't know, LCS is the shorthand for the North American League of Legends scene. LCS is in turmoil.
I have no idea what LCS stands for. I never have. I just know it's the league thing.
There are 3 major parties.
LCS. You know what? All these years, I never actually questioned myself, what does LCS mean? You know what? Better time than ever. League of Legends Championship Series. Okay.
Causing this turmoil. The first one is Riot Games, the creator of League of Legends. The second one are the 10 team owners, the TSMs, the Team Liquids
League
of the world, who
Championship
make
Series.
up
That's
the LCS.
crazy.
And the final one are the 50-plus players, the Player Association, that make up all of the team's players, the people who actually play the goddamn game really, really well.
Yeah.
And I should preface this, if you don't watch League, that it is not doing great in North America. It is
No,
not
it's
a
not.
wonderful time to be in a...
No, it's not. Every time I watch like streamers for League of Legends, like I Will Dominate, IMLS, who else? Tyler One, all these streamers, they keep on talking about. Well, they don't keep on talking about, but they mention a lot that LCS or League of Legends viewership and all that, player rate, all that stuff in general in North America has been falling drastically. Well, not really drastically, but pretty much like a lot, year by year in North America. And I think it's just because, like, I don't know, we don't have that good much of a players. Like, our players are not that good. They're better than me, but if we compare it to Asian countries like China, that's been dominating the last 2-3 years, Korea, when they had their 7-time world spree of wins, right? So, we haven't really done much. North America is kind of trash. Like, EU won like 1 Worlds, right? So, yeah, North America is kind of bad. We keep on talking about, like, NA better than EU, but we don't have a Worlds to prove it.
LCS
At
fans,
least I don't
because
remember one.
viewership is way down. This is over the past 5+ years. You can see that the number not going up, it going down. And
Wow. We didn't even reach 3K in spring. Wow. And I was watching that too. And I'm not gonna lie, watching LCS is like so boring. But watching LCK is even more obnoxiously boring. Because the thing about watching pro play, and this is probably something that I've heard from someone else, and I'm just saying what they said because I also agree with it, is that all the pro players, all right, unless they are target banning other pro players, they all play the same shit. They all play the same exact thing. Like, for example, they will play Ari Vi, Lulu Zeri, Akshan Nautilus, or Akshan with some other enchanter or hook champ, right? What else? Nautilus mid, even though that was pretty freaking cool, not gonna lie. Always a Gragas in the top lane or a Gragas in the jungle, right? At least in the last, what do you call it? In the last season that happened, I forgot which one that was. No, MSI. At least in MSI, we had cool picks like Kha'Zix. We had other picks like Nautilus Mid that Faker did, and everyone started doing. But in LCS, we're kind of following the same format where everybody's playing the exact same shit, and it's boring. It's boring to watch, right? And also, none of the players do anything that's like super cool, super trolly, flashy, right? Everyone tends to do very safe plays, and plays that don't kind of hinder their career in a sense, if I'm using that correctly. They play safe, and they don't play for plays or something like that.
That usually.
Let's see. God damn, this shit's way lower. Look at that. So it's not even. This is not even like a COVID situation, because like 2017 was at 600.
What happened in 2017? So League of Legends in 2017, Legends Never Die. That was amazing. TSM versus Immortals. Oh yeah! It was when Bjerg and Doublelift were on the same team on TSM. This was the heyday of TSM. And I'm pretty sure after this, I think 2018 was pretty good too. But I think after that is when Doublelift... Oh no, Doublelift didn't retire yet. Bjerg retired. And then Doublelift, I think, retired after him or something like that. I could be wrong on this because, again, my memory's not that great when it comes to like little things like this. But yeah, this was pretty good. Not gonna lie, this was pretty damn good.
They hadn't gotten to 600 at all. 2019, before COVID, was 599, and now it's it's almost only at 250k, 270k. Yeah, why though? Here's why I think.
Let's hear it.
Like, I think League has just been out for a really long time, and I think maybe people are tired of it. Like, that's kind of like that's my vibe.
So League has been out for a really long time. Like, it's been out since what, 2009? So it's almost been a decade and a half. But here's another reason, right? The meta hasn't really changed all that much. Also, the format of LCS hasn't changed all that much. I would say what would make LCS a better viewing experience is if they did an Iron Man draft, if I'm even using it correctly. So pretty much, the idea of an Iron Man draft, if I have it correct in my head, is that anytime any team chooses a champion, right, to play, they can't play that champion for the rest of the game. So if they're playing a best of 5, for the whole time, they cannot play those champions they've already played. Because again, alright, League of Legends here has been out for almost a decade and a half, and we have over 160 champions. Alright, and we're just going to get more. Like, we have an upcoming champion in the next couple months. We have a Skarner rework, right? That's been pushed back, right? And so we have all these champions, yet we only see, like, what, 20 of them all the time? Maybe less. Maybe, like, probably 15 of them all the time, right? So we know the meta, right? It's either going to be a Wukong in the jungle, a Gragas in the top, a Fiora here and there, a Vi in the jungle, a Zeri Lulu, a Aphelios Lulu, a Aphelios Thresh or something, right? And then, like, in the mid lane, it's always going to be, like, Ahri or something, right? Or some kind of safe pick, right? I saw, what was it, when Aurelion Sol didn't get all his nerfs and all that too much, because Aurelion Sol has been destroying in solo queue somehow with all his nerfs. That's literally just how it's been. And so I think because everyone has already seen and everyone notices that LCS, they all pretty much play the same characters all the time, like, it's really boring to watch for the most part. And that's why an Iron Man draft would be really cool.
Like, I think it's old, right? Like, there's only one game that has stood the test of time, maybe two, like with Melee, But like that's Counter-Strike. Other than that, I feel like, games come and go.
Sure.
Dota, yeah, Dota 2 is the same. I don't know if Dota viewership is the same as League.
Dota viewership is not the same as League. I think Dota maybe. No. I used to follow Dota. I played it with some people that I knew, but I don't think it was ever as big as League. I think the mechanics in Dota are a bit more intuitive than League, but I think League of Legends just has a lot more flashier characters and abilities. That's why it's more popular, but yeah. Counter-Strike, I would say Counter-Strike doesn't really have a lot of meta changes, and it's always the same, and so it's pretty consistent. And it's like, while I think it's stale, people might not think it's stale, but it's I think a lot easier to view because it's an FPS. And in League of Legends, sometimes it's not as clear because so many things tend to happen at once. Like an Aurelian Soul R here, a Ari Charm there, Kha'Zix jumping in, getting a kill, going invis, going out, right? You have all these things going on, and so it's kind of a crazy viewing experience unless you're a person who plays League of Legends.
I don't have that data. I don't have the Dota data.
Means bad things. 640K was peak in 2017, and they are down to 270K in their most recent spring split finals. These are not good numbers, but it does not mean League as a whole is dying. It's sometimes memed as a dead game, but the viewership for their big Super Bowl event, the Worlds event, was better than ever last year.
Well,
peaked at 5.1 million viewers.
Holy
I don't know how much
fuck.
I necessarily trust that number, but
I would say, right, do that number compared to like 2017, 2018, I would say that the number is probably a lot lower. But we can check right now, actually. They don't have past viewers. Interesting. Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate. But yeah, if you compare 2022 to 21 and 20, the viewer rating has been a lot higher. But I don't think they go back to 2017 or 2018. Let's see. Demacia, Winter Cup, that's kind of whatever. Let's see. All-Stars, I think that's mostly an NA type thing, which still had good numbers. Yeah, they don't have Worlds 2018 or MSI 2018 or anything like that. So that's unfortunate.
But I do know it is on the up as a whole. So League across the world, great. League in North America, not so great. Why is that? Well, if I'm being frank, they're dog shit. Compared to...
Preach! Preach! I think I've already said it before, but we have not won a single Worlds, right? So yeah.
The rest of the world, they're dog shit. They're way better than me. They're professional gamers at their core, but they had their worst performance
Ludwig
ever
said what I
at
just
Worlds.
said.
They went 3-15, and the best.
Woo! I didn't even notice it. I just saw NA getting shit on, and I'm automatically like, okay, done watching. Right? I just watch Chinese players, and I watch Korean players. That's all I do. Alright?
Oh, wow.
Yep.
They have
And
ever.
they-
What does
terrible.
Ludwig know? He saw the number 3 and 15, and he drew a conclusion from that number. I think a lot of people can draw a conclusion from 3 and 15. I don't think you need to be a challenger level league player to know that.
No, you don't even need to be a rocket
Seems pretty fair.
scientist.
On the global stage again.
Wait. In week 1 before 0-10 in week 2.
Europe,
Damn.
against China,
Alright.
against Korea, some of the
Damn.
better regions, is getting to the semifinals.
That right there.
They've never gotten to the finals, and they've never won the world championship. They've just
Yeah.
gotten to the semifinals.
Yeah. Right? We keep on saying, like, hey, getting 2 Worlds it's always a good thing. That means you got first, second, or third in your region, right? But winning worlds is all that matters, right? Winning worlds is all that matters. If you want second place, you're the first loser. At least that's my mindset. So if you didn't win worlds, you didn't win worlds, buddy. Like, NA, man, we're terrible.
And all of that has made
But we do have the craziest solo queue, because even Faker himself, I forgot which interview was it, but Faker himself said that NA solo queue was harder than Korean solo queue. Hey.
a bit of a drought in LCS in terms of viewership, new players, and all that good stuff that helps a thriving esport grow. And because things aren't doing so well, there have been requests for some changes. Specifically, there was a request recently from the 10 teams who all signed to remove the mandate to have an NACL team. And it's at this point...
NACL is just academy teams, which is the North American Challenger League, or just the academy teams, right? So they're kind of... So from this, and what Ludwig said, all 10 teams voted to get rid of their academy teams.
Point I should explain to you that every single team who has an LCS spot, a major league spot, also needs to have a minor league spot, aka an NACL team. And much like baseball, these are farm teams. It's not like your minor league team moves up to the major leagues. You just hope to cultivate young North American talent in the minor leagues that can promote them to the major leagues once...
Looking to shine some diamonds to put them into the spotlight or to auction off, right? I'm pretty sure, I think half of LCS right now all came from academy, I think. But like, I think we have a lot of imports too.
They've reached a good spot of learning how to play with the pros. That's kind of the idea.
Yeah.
But it hasn't super worked well. I'm being kind of nice here. It hasn't worked at all. There's not a lot of young, new NA talent. Most really good...
True! NA talent is not as good as Korean academy talent. Let's just say that. But also, I think the last really good talent that we had was Danny on Evil Geniuses. That guy, man, he pulled through. He pulled through real hard. But I guess the pressure was a little too rough for him, and after making the money, peace out. He said peace. But I think it was also a mentality thing and all that too. So yeah, like all that money at his age, I think Danny's like younger than me. I think Danny was like 19 or something like that. But yeah, younger than me, got like millions of dollars from playing freaking LCS. I think won LCS, got to Worlds, and played in Worlds, and then that just slayed his mentality straight up.
NA teams are good because they've imported players from other regions. That's just the reality of...
But here's the thing, right? I don't think these guys know this, but I know this because I've seen this, and also I watch other streamers that also have said this. A lot of the imports, right, they tend to come here for the paycheck. We're a retirement region. That's what they call it. We're a retirement region. They come here for the paycheck. And they lose their skill when they come to the retirement region. That's how they say it. So they come here, right? They're super good, maybe X-Worlds finalists, maybe, you know, one of the best laners in that region, or the best player on that team. You know, here is a $50 million paycheck. Here's a $100 million paycheck. Hey, come to North America. Come here, brother. And they come here, and then their skill goes from up there, beyond the skies, beyond the heavens, to, you know, probably, like, human height. Like, minuscule. Like, they're not that good anymore. That has happened to, I think, not Huni? A lot of the Korean players that come over here. I think there was like 1 or 2 Chinese players that came over here. I'm not too sure. But all their skills, top of the top, right? God level. Now you're man.
Of the situation. And so there has been a mandate that every major league team has to have a minor league team, and the teams are saying, it's too expensive to have a major league team and a minor league team. Can we just have
like
a
it's
major
a mandate,
league team, please?
so it's a mandate. They have to comply, right?
And Riot Games said, yeah. You know what? We thought about it, and we will eliminate the mandate to have a minor league team, an NACL team.
Now, I'm also thinking like, hey, they're eliminating the mandate. It doesn't necessarily mean that they will get rid of the academy team, right? Or the academy league in general. But if the mandate is not there anymore, and a lot of leagues are losing money, right? They don't want the team no more, and so league go bye-bye.
Starting with summer 2023.
Okay.
This request came in literally May 6th and May 12th. A week later, they're like, let's do it. Bang, let's do it.
Okay.
Very, very quick turnaround, which is kind of fucked up.
I forget which
because
teams
on the side, Riot
actually,
Game.
I forgot which teams actually chose to keep their teams. I think it was like 3 teams, and then the rest were like, "Nah, we're ditching them." So, kind of bad, right?
Was talking to the LCS Player Association, all the players that make up the major leagues, and they said that they won't do anything to the NACL until 2024. We'll have to discuss some changes, but we promise it's not going to be till 2024. Not only that, but we'll also make sure you're at the table when we have those discussions. That's not how it plays.
I'm going to just say nobody's at the table except for Riot.
True.
They own the game. They own the rights to the game. They own the broadcasting for the game. They own everything about it. So if people don't like it, they can get the fuck out and more people are going to come in. Yeah, they own the entire table. Like, it might make the players feel good that they can come and talk about it. But the truth is that, Tencent owns Riot. You're right about that.
True.
But,
Tencent also owns the majority of all gaming studios, companies, all that stuff, right? If you look at the pyramid, I'm sure this is like common knowledge at this point. If you look at the pyramid of like gaming studios, games, all that stuff, they all lead up to like Tencent, or it's like 1 or 2 Chinese companies, and I'm pretty sure Tencent is the company right now.
I mean, the players never had a chance to begin with. That's just the way esports are.
True.
Played out at all. Riot went ahead with acquiescing to the requests of the teams without actually contacting any of the player association. And the player association was pretty upset about that because they were supposed to be at least a part of the table when decisions like this were made.
I don't understand. Like, maybe this is a bad take, but like, I just don't see why Riot is in the wrong for removing a mandate that they have to keep a second team on life support for no reason. Like, am I missing something? Like, if it's not profitable and they're not getting a benefit from it, lost jobs. So now we can't. Of course, people are going to lose their jobs. That's what happens.
Asmongold also has the take like that Tyler One has, where a lot of the academy players, they tend to be. Once they get to academy, they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm in academy. I'm gonna take my paychecks, do the bare minimum, do somewhat of a good showing in my academy games, and leave it at that." So they're basically, what do you call them? Paycheck thieves, paycheck vultures, whatever, right? So I think this is the kind of the same reaction Tyler One Asmongold has to this, because if a league is losing money, right? If you're doing this in like a businessman mindset, if you're losing money, of course, you're going to cut off what's making you lose money. And for a lot of teams, it's, the academy teams. Because, again, academy is just their farming ground for new talent. And the majority of the time, from what I've heard from other people and from what I've heard from other streamers as well, is that, hey, right? A lot of these academy players are just there for the paycheck. And once they get there, they don't actually try to get to LCS. Some of them do. And they get into LCS, but the majority of the time, they're okay with what they're at.
Like, bro, like, Like, you don't have a right to have a job in an esports team, man. Like, that's insane.
And so what did they do in response to that? Well, they decided to have a vote for a walkout.
Yeah, so a lot of people are taking the, is it moral or ethical, right? It's one of those two terms. I don't use it interchangeably, but I'm going to use morally. A lot of people are taking the moral route and being like, hey, we're not going to take down our academy team because a lot of these guys would lose their jobs, so they're taking the more empathetical route. While a lot of these other orgs are taking the, hey, we're losing money, the more businessman route. And, we're going to have to cut you off type deal.
Okay.
Something that has never been done, as far as I'm aware, in esports history, where all of the players would not appear for the start of the summer split, which is the most important split because the winners of the summer split get the chance to compete in Worlds, the most prestigious event, I would argue, in esports, maybe with the exception of the international, but definitely up there, a huge event that nobody wants to miss. So they decided to walk out, skip the start, which was supposed to be tomorrow, this Thursday. And that vote happened, and it overwhelmingly passed. This is not a decision LCS players have come to lightly. Countless discussions and debates were had between all LCS players in the week leading up to this historic vote. And so that was their call. We are not going to show up for our games. And not only that, they had a list that LCS.
Wait, let's see. One thing clear from those conversations, our players want to play and compete above all else. Joining hands to put competition aside is testament to the significance and urgency of the issues at hand. We stand with this impasse because actions were taken by Riot without prior communication or discussion with the LCS players. I don't know what their terms and conditions are, so I don't really care about that. Like what has been said, Riot owns the game. They can do what they want with the game that they own, right? It's their IP. Of course, players' opinions do matter too at the same time, but their game, their rules, that type of deal. Is it cool? No, but it is what it is. The LCS PA sincerely hopes Riot will avert this walkout by joining us in the coming days to have open and transparent discussions so we can forge collaborative solutions to ensure the best futures for the LCS and ACL.
Players in the week leading to show up for our games. And not only that, they had a list of 5 asks for Riot Games. 5 things that they wanted to talk about before they would consider going back to play. And their asks of Riot was to institute a Valorant-style promotion.
Valorant-style promotion?
Relegation between the LCS and the NACL. So rather than the baseball-style Major League, Minor League, where you're using the minor league teams as farm teams to get Major League talent, you want basically relegation systems, like how soccer works in the UK, or basically using the minor leagues and the NA. It was to institute a Valorant-style promotion relegation between the LCS and the NACL. So rather than the baseball-style Major League, Minor League, where you're using the minor league teams as farm teams to get Major League talent, you want basically relegation systems, like how soccer works in the UK, or how the current Valorant system, like they've spoken here, works, where if a team performs really poorly, they get kicked out. They go to the minor leagues. And if a minor league team performs really well, they go to the major leagues.
That's what League of Legends, that's what they would give the pro player the option of. And so, I think, who was it? Sven? Something like that. One of the players in LCS went to Academy for a couple years and then came back. I think there was a bunch more other League of Legends players that did that too. But I think that was more of an option instead of a, hey, like, we see you not doing so well. We're going to move you to this. You really have no say in this, but we want to move you to this, see how well you do that, and then come back. I think for LCS it was more of a choice, but I'm not too sure. My memory is kind of hazy, but I do remember a lot of LCS players going to Academy, doing really well, getting their mindset in the right place, getting their play style back in the right place, coming back and doing well again, right? So, I think this always has been a thing, but I could be wrong.
What else did they want? They wanted a commit of a revenue pool for player salaries of $300K per team. Basically, remove the burden from the teams to pay for all these players and give the burden to Riot Games.
I don't know. I don't know how that would work.
They wanted to allow LCS orgs to partner with
I do think that in this position, Riot probably should pay out the salaries for the NACL teams. Because they said and they told the players that they weren't going to make any decisions. And I think that it does fall on them to pay out the players because that is what they said.
Okay.
It was a fuck up on their end. Yeah, it was a fuck up on their end. I don't think it's a big deal. Riot's a multi-billion-dollar company. They can pay it out.
True. They have multiple games, multiple revenues of income. They can do something.
Pay them for 6 months and fuck off? Yeah, exactly. Like, pay out the rest of their contracts that would have ended in 2024. And then just don't pay them after that. I think that's what's fair.
with affiliates for cost sharing, which I think just means like, hey, if the team can't afford it, maybe they partner with someone who can. Then they asked for Riot to guarantee LCS minimum contracts for the following year for the 5 players who won the LCS Summer Finals. Basically, you know, if they won, give them a little bone. They want give Dog a bone for winning. And then the final one was instituting a 3/5 roster continuity rule to provide players on released NAC.
Yeah, because as any tournament goes, you know, you have a set prize pool, and then it gets split off to the org, everybody else, and then the 5 players, right? I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. I could be wrong, but yeah. So them wanting to get a little extra from Riot because they win, right? You know, the finals for summer, spring, MSI, Worlds, whatever, right? Giving a little extra would be cool.
NACL rosters first priority,
But I think you would have to
maintaining
do
their
that
slot in the
across
upcoming NACL
other
season
regions as
if a
well.
majority continue to compete together. Which I think is a long-winded way of saying, hey, can it be the players' decision to stick together and not the team's decisions to stick together? Please, if most of them want to stick together. And that was their big asks. And Riot during all of this initially didn't really respond to the asks. They responded to the walkout. They were really concerned that the summer split wasn't going to start.
Yeah,
because
of course.
although LCS in North American League is not growing and is not the biggest and is not the best, it is.
Here's my initial thoughts on this when I heard about the walkout. We're not even that good in the first place, right? So if you want to walk out, go ahead, right? Who cares? Make it a big statement, right? We haven't won a Worlds in a long time. Hell, we don't even win MSI. So if we want to walk out, let's fucking do it. Let's do it. We up this bitch, right? So yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. But of course, you know, if what was it? I think they also said that if they're going to postpone it because they really want the players back, but also if no one shows up, we're going to cancel all of summer, and you're not going to be able to go to Worlds. But again, like I said before, and we ain't even that good in the first place. We're not even that good in the first place. So, get the fuck out. Hey, here's some vacay. Here's some vacay. You know, get some time to get your skills back up. Maybe, you know, get some time to heal your mental from all the stress and all the work, right? So, hey.
Is the flagship of all League of Legends.
Maybe kind of a
esports.
bad
It's what kicked
mentality, but at
everything
the
off.
same time,
Before there was LEC,
hardly ever win
European
a
or,
Worlds or
Chinese
MSI.
or Korean league teams in competitions. There was North American League competitions. That's all there was at a certain point. So I think it holds a level of prestige that some of the other regions don't because of that. Although that prestige is quickly fading. And so what do they want?
I mean, if it held that prestige, then people would watch it.
Not wrong.
I mean, there it is.
To do, they wanted to ensure that tomorrow's date, Thursday, the summer split would actually start. So they allowed teams to sign players outside the window when they normally would, and this broke live on stream when Travis Gafford leaked some of the other decisions Riot was making.
For multiple sources.
Such a dumb decision. Such a dumb decision.
Breaking news alert.
Within an hour of the show starting, that Riot is officially suspending the requirements to play in the LCS. So now you can be of any rank, and you can play from anywhere. You can play from home even
Oh,
on Thursday if you would like to be a pro
even
player.
from home? I should sign up. I should sign up. I should sign up, play some, Nico hide and seek, play some Teemo jungle, right? I should play some brand jungle. I should play a whole team of Yordles.
So you, I,
We're all pro players
Mark,
now.
Hell
Phil,
yeah,
we're
baby!
all eligible to compete in
so
the
dumb.
LCS at this time.
That is a huge bomb that Travis just dropped.
Yep.
Basically, the players are saying, hey,
Maybe I should
we are
join.
striking until you meet or talk to us about our list of asks.
Yeah.
And Riot Games in return said, hey, teams, you can sign literally anybody with a heartbeat. Just get 5 fuckers on that stage so we can start our goddamn summer split.
Wow.
Which is crazy. This is
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I mean, like, here's the reality, right? I mean, you've got a group of people that are doing a walkout for a game. Meanwhile, viewership is going down the fucking toilet. Nobody gives a shit about it. They're losing constantly. And they have the audacity to fucking do a walkout and write a list of demands?
Hey, even if the list of demands aren't met, they get a vacation. Honestly, I would take it. I would take it. We don't win Worlds, we don't win MSI. Hell, LCS, viewer down the drain. Vacation, baby. We walking now.
Bro, you're lucky Riot doesn't list you a list of demands. Like, you think anybody gives a fuck about this? Absolutely not. And if they did, they would have watched it in the first place. Yeah, I mean, there you go. You want to pick up your things and go home? Okay.
Vacation.
equivalent of coal mine workers going on strike, and then the coal mine company going to their nearest high school and saying, hey kids, I've always heard you're yearning for what we do. I
Yeah.
think it's fair to say that League
Well,
of
that'd be
Legends
middle school,
competition
not high
should
school.
be kept to the professionals, and that Riot Games should not be going around the professionals to try to get any heartbeat on stage just to ensure that their competition will start.
Hey, but any heartbeat could be a interesting viewing experience. Get to see some Teemo jungle, some brand jungle, some Nico hide and seek, right? Get some really weird stuff going on. Let's do full team of Yordles versus let's play cops and robbers, right?
On their timeline.
Well, I think that's that's what they're gonna do, right?
That'd be
Because it's
hilarious.
like, again, how do you have all of these demands, but these demands are tied to an event, which the event's broadcasting value is going down dramatically by like double-digit percentage numbers year over year. Like,
Yeah.
why would you?
It's dying.
Like, why? Like, look at it from Riot's perspective. Like, why would they want to make those people happy? People are tired of the lack of diversity in NA teams. No girls, no dreads, no braids.
The whole no girls, all that shit. Like, here's the thing, right? We used to have a female team. What happened to them? They got bullied for 30 minutes plus, maybe an hour. All right? And then what did Riot do? Hey, no more female teams. If we're going to have female teams, let's do a female league. All right? Like it's kind of the same thing that happened in Valorant. The female team in Valorant, well, they're pretty good. And they scrim against the I think it was C9 blue and C9 white, right? They would scrim against each other. Those girls are hell a lot better than I am. They're really good players. But when it came to the really good teams, they didn't make it. I don't know if it's a biological thing or just a skill issue, but for the most part, a lot of the times in games like this where it gets really, really competitive, a lot of the female teams don't really make it. And that's just how it is. Now, once upon a time in the future, if we get a full female team that's absolute just godly faker level and they just destroy everybody, hey, then we can maybe talk a lot more. But right now, from the things that I've seen going from back in the heyday of League of Legends when that female team got absolutely discombobulated and destroyed to C9 White, or no, C9 White was the guys team, I think, or I could be wrong, but whatever C9 team that had the female teams of pretty good players, that they didn't even win, I think, right? It's all about winning at the end of the day, right? But none of them won, right? So it is what it is.
No sombreros. It's the same lineup over and over again. I bet nobody'd be giving a fuck if it was 5 white guys or 5 Asian dudes or 5 black guys or anything, as long as they were winning.
Exactly.
It's
like I said, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is winning.
that they're not. It's good. The problem is that they're losing and that the teams are not competitive. That's the problem.
The Player
Exactly
Association
what I
not
said.
happy with that. The LCSPA has been aware for over a week of attempts to require teams to field scab players at the start of the season. We continue to actively reach out to players outside the LCS with a clear and simple message. Do not play for any LCS org as a replacement player.
Yeah.
This is a walkout to benefit all league players in America. Crossing the line puts all players' futures at risk. LCS, NACL, and amateur. Crossing the line
I
undermines
should
player
start playing
negotiating power. And if you have agreed to be a replacement contract, please contact us to navigate your situation. Basically, hey, don't cross our picket fence. We are trying hard to help everybody. And it seems like the Players Association call to not cross the picket fence worked, because yesterday, Riot Games announced that they were going to delay the start of the summer split for 2 more weeks. Nobody's
so that's what the
nobody's
2-week
going to be
delay
playing
was.
League of Legends this coming
Interesting.
Thursday. The pro scene is not going to start.
Okay.
But they also responded to the 5 requests from the Player Association.
Finally!
Starting with the first one, which I thought had the most legs, which was instituting a Valorant-style promotion relegation between the majors and the minor leagues. And they said expanding the league in order to implement a Valorant-style visitor slot system would run counter to our existing partnership model with the 10 LCS teams who paid 10 mil per slot to compete.
I didn't know you had to pay English. I didn't know you had to pay $10 million a slot to compete in League of Legends. Well, damn. But honestly, I feel like we should have a lot more teams. Kind of like China does. They have like a crap ton of teams. But I don't know. Then again, our region is, I guess, not that big. But I would love to see NA just have a crap ton more teams, a crap ton more competition, right? Our LCS may be longer, but maybe that'd be more fun. Maybe that draw in more interest. I don't know. But dang, 10 mil per slot? Jesus.
Compete in the league. It would dilute LCS teams' equity and put considerable downward pressure on the amount of revenue, our league rev pool, that we share with the teams. More teams in the pool would dilute the revenue that we share 50% with our teams under the partnership model. Given the challenging macroeconomic climate, expanding the league is not a good idea at this time. My take on this, the teams have too much power, and Riot fucked up when they first started LCS.
True.
They tried to correct their mistake when they made Valorant's league, which I think is a very healthy system. In fact, I think they should probably have more teams get relegated because their current rate makes it a little bit slow for a minor league team like our Moist Moguls to make it to the franchised major leagues.
True.
It's only 1 team from all of North and South America per year.
Wow.
It's not very fast, but it is better than League, where there's no chance to go to the
Yeah.
major leagues.
Yeah.
And for a long time, it feels like teams in League of Legends have used their spot in League of Legends as a speculative asset. It's like owning a house in esports. They hope that the esport grows, they hold their spot that they bought for 10 mil, and then they sell it for a lot more millions later on. This is exactly what Misfits did when they sold their League of Legends spot over in Europe for allegedly like over $25 million.
That's
Jeez.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, $25 million for that shit. Holy fuck.
Crazy. That's crazy how much
I remember hearing about that, but I totally forgot it until Ludwig brought it back up. Holy, yeah. That was crazy.
value they're able to gain, and because of that, the teams, they just hold all the power. And I don't want to call anyone out, but it doesn't make any goddamn sense to me that you can have a team like Dignitas, who bought their team from Clutch Gaming in 2020, be this consistently dogshit with zero repercussions. They have barely ever made playoffs. They're consistent with top power. And I don't want to call anyone out, but it doesn't make any goddamn sense to me that you can have a team like Dignitas, who bought their team from Clutch Gaming in 2020, be this consistently dog shit with zero repercussions.
Well, let's see. Oh yeah, Dignitas didn't even make it. Are they on there? No, they're not. They're not even on there. They're literally 7th place. Like, they're literally bottom 3.
They have barely ever made playoffs. They're consistently the bottom of the leaderboard.
Yeah,
and once in 2022, they made the playoffs with a 1-3 record, only to get eliminated.
I think, let's see. This one was 2022. I think they had Afro Moo, even though that doesn't really make it that big of a difference. I think they had a decent lineup, but still not good enough compared to Evil Genius's Team Liquid. I think CLG just had a cracked-ish lineup this time around. FlyQuest had a kind of a cracked-ish one. Cloud9's always good. 100 Thieves, they pull it out of their ass, not gonna lie. 100 Thieves, I think they imported a EU player, and I think that player was cracked out of his mind. So,
Eliminated by Team Liquid. And then in the summer season, what do?
Man.
They went 3-15.
Ooh.
Right? And what do they do in the most recent season, the spring 2023 season? Oh, a back-to-back 3-15. A rare double dog shit performance.
Yeah, 315. 315.
And there is no punishment for that at all. There's no expectation that they need to get better.
Yeah, that's a good
because
point.
If they don't, then they'll get relegated and somebody else will take their spot. They're just able to be dog shit in perpetuity, and eventually, if the league scene grows, sell their spot for more than they bought it for. That's just the current
LCS
system,
messed up in the
and
beginning,
I don't
I guess,
think
yeah.
they have the power to change it as a whole. Now, I do think, even though that exists, they should be adding new slots. I understand that it would dilute the pool because they do get between, I think it's been reported, $1.5 to $3 million from the league revenue pool, and they would have to share that with another spot. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's fine. I think they should be sharing it. I think
It's
there's
not
The
that big of a
important thing
pool,
is
but
that
yeah.
people watch the events. And if people don't watch the events, everything else dies.
Yeah. Like, if more people watch it, maybe the league pool will get bigger, or it will stay the same compared to the teams right now, right? So, I think it would be a better viewing experience because we would have new teams, and there'd be more people, and there'd be more games, and maybe, more new interesting ideas and play styles.
Eventually, the money will dry up and people will lose interest. So everything should move towards like the end goal of getting people involved and invested into watching the events.
Yeah.
So like whether it's and the thing is, like, this is why StarCraft 2 was always so popular. People would watch the events, same as fighting games. A lot of fighting games. The reason why watching them is so popular is because you don't know whenever it's going to turn into a fighting real life game. People get pissed off at each other, throw the controllers.
They're literally sitting right next to each other. Of course, hey, one guy loses, drop, swing. What's the guy going to do? Cower, stand up, swing. What's next? The two big dudes that's standing on the sides over there, ho, 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 tackle.
Smash Brothers, like, talking shit, storming off. Like back in the, back in the StarCraft 2 days, there was this guy, his name was Idra, and this guy was just like a massive dickhead. And like, this is what people remember. Like, I don't remember anybody else really from StarCraft competitive scene, like maybe a couple of other people, but I remember him because it was interesting. And I'm so sick of these fucking people that are trying to make esports as like prim and proper as Major League Baseball. Like,
same, dude. Same. Who remembers? Oh, actually, this is super recent. Who remembers when that one idiot, I think it was in Valorant, that said teabagging was SNA? Right? You get what I mean, right? They said teabagging was SNA. Man, shut your dumb ass up. All right? That has been in the game since, what? The first COD game. The first freaking multiplayer Halo game. Right? Every FPS game in the world. Every fighting game. Alright? Crouch, crouch, crouch. Punch, punch. Alright? Everyone did that. Alright? If you beat someone, you crouch, crouch, you suck. That's how it was. And it was funny, and it was fun to watch, because people would get mad, and you know what people love? We love drama. and we love seeing people mad. We love seeing people getting excited, extremely livid and animated. All right, we love seeing people doing that. So, hey, I agree with Asmongold. I hate the whole gentlemanly baseball, man. We gentlemen over here. Nah, get that. Stop. I want shit talking. I want teabagging. I want haymakers flinging left and right. I want the good old days back. I want a lot of shit talking though, especially on the internet. And I think the only person we kind of had that in League of Legends with was it JoJo Pyun, where he would like emotes and then do the control control 3 or something to do the dance for the champion to start taunting players. I think that was interesting to watch. We need more of that.
What the fuck are we doing here? This is a video game. Let people act like clowns.
Exactly.
Like, really? Like, it's a fucking entertainment show. Who cares
Logan Paul, right? Are you not entertained?
how good they are at the game if they're fucking boring?
Should be some sort of sweat from the teams and culpability to perform at a high level. That's the whole point of a thriving competitive ecosystem.
Hot
that
mics,
teams feel pressure to perform well. And this isn't like the NFL or the NBA, where the dogshit teams get to draft first to get the best.
Yeah, sure. And somebody said, "What then?" Sponsors get mad. You know what else sponsors get mad about? Showing their ads to people that aren't there.
True.
Is they get told, "Oh, it's going to be this many people watching," then it's not.
Man, it's like, why do you think that the UFC has their conference thing, right? Where they sit the fighters right next to each other and just let them talk shit to each other, and then maybe there's a small fight that they have to break up. Like, why do you think the UFC does that? It's entertaining as hell. Because
That's what's going to make them even more mad.
It's entertainment.
Upcoming talent. Because there is no real good upcoming talent in North America. Teams often get better by spending out their ass to get teams from Europe, China, or Korea. Okay, what about the other points? Well, Riot talked about the ask that you pay the 5 people who won the minor league summer finals, and they said, that's not really sustainable. And then what about the 3/5 continuity rule, where players get to play together if they want to without the teams having control over it? And they said, we want to give power to the teams. So in this conversation, it seems like Riot Games has decided in LCS to give all the power to the teams, which I think creates an imbalance of power between teams and players. I think there's too much power in teams, and I don't think they're doing good with their power, and I think they are the reason that LCS is crumbling as a whole. And Riot should reverse that by giving more power to players. And again, I think Riot knows this because they fixed all the mistakes they made setting up their league competitive ecosystem.
There is a good chance that Ludwig is right about this, that the players should have more input than the teams do, because the teams are primarily focused around making money, whereas the players are primarily focused around winning games.
Yeah, it's like when a lot of the coaches are not League of Legends players, and so they don't understand like how you should actually be coaching a League of Legends player. And so when you have a League of Legends ex-pro coaching other pros, that those teams tend to be a little bit better than others. Kind of like that.
Like, these teams are, this is for sponsors, they're reselling their slots, etc. I do think that it should be players first. Now, obviously, it's not between the players and the teams. It's really like Riot decides. Riot is God here. They just decide what's going to happen. And even if everybody in the LCS right now quits, by next year they'll have an entirely new set of people playing, and they'll be playing for whatever Riot tells them they'll play for. Because the truth is, there's a lot of money to be made in it, and there's a lot of careers to be made in it too. That's just how it is. Until individual players have brand power themselves, they can't have a bargaining agreement. They're too replaceable. And that's the problem, is that whenever you have players that are boring, and you have people that are like, what do? I play League of Legends. Well, who gives a fuck about that? Like, yeah, you can be that guy if you're Messi, sure. But, like, let's be honest. there are way more interesting people that, like, let's see, who's that one guy that the guy that pulled the like the NBA guy, I think it's like Ja Morant or whatever. Bro, I love him. Like, he's talking about beating the shit out of people on like Ja Morant. Yeah, bro, he is my favorite player right now. Because he's pulling out a gun while he's driving around. He's going and like trying to get in fights on like a court. Like, that's interesting to me. That's something that's worth watching. Because I don't care about the integrity of the game at all. I just want to be entertained. So whenever something stupid happens, that makes it more fun.
Of course.
Really, like, that's how I don't care. Who gives a fuck about that?
I think I've already said that before. I think Asmongold has the same mindset
when they set
that I
up
do.
their Valorant competitive ecosystem. The players do have a lot of power because 5 people can straight up get into the minor leagues without a team at all. And from there, they have the ability to get to the major leagues. We've seen that with people like Turtle Troop, who are 1 game away from making it to the playoffs for a chance to compete to make it to the major leagues. That's crazy. And they don't have a team that represents them. That is a lot of power that players hold that they cannot hold in League of Legends. Now you can read the rest of the article to see what Riot said about all the asks from the player association.
And it also is a problem, like, if you have people that just don't bring in like a they don't have like their own following. Like, how is somebody going to get a following and get popular playing League of Legends? Well, they have to do it on like Twitch, right? Who are the popular? Like, whenever I think of the most popular League of Legends players, or at least like the ones that I know of right now, there's obviously T1, obviously Tyler 1. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. There's Faker, Double Lift. Yep. Let's see. Besides that, there's that one guy Dantes on Twitter. I don't even know if he's good at the game, but he's funny. T1 even said most of the pros don't do anything to promote in a league.
Whoever said that in chat, they're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there's not a lot.
So the thing is that, from what I've noticed, is that a lot of League of Legends players, not all of them, but a good bit of them, they don't stream. They just play League of Legends all day, all night, or they play League for a certain amount of time, you know, go jerk off, go watch some YouTube videos, do whatever, right? And then they wake up, play League of Legends again. That's all they do. They don't stream it. They don't do anything like that. But so that just makes it so that they have no following. They have no power. They're just doing what they're doing, right? A very introverted lifestyle, right? And so, of course, we have people like Doublelift, Bjergsen, Broxa, Afromoo, who else, right? Like, I Will Dominate. He was an ex League of Legends pro player. I'm LS, ex League of Legends pro player. Who else? Nemesis, right? Ex League of Legends pro player. All these guys who built their following either after they were a pro or while they were a pro, and they have a lot more power, you know, as a player. And of course, they're worth a lot more if an organization is trying to get them into their team. And so, yeah, a lot of these players, I would say, need to step up.
A lot of people that are that exciting to watch, other than just watching them play League.
Yeah, a lot of the League of Legends players don't really have a personality. They're a bit more robotic, I guess you could say.
Bjergsen? I didn't know if he still even played. He played like 10 years ago, right?
Also, it makes something come to mind that a lot of these League pros, I noticed that you tend to watch them because they're good and not because they have a funny personality, like, you know, Dantes, Tyler 1, right? The Nunu one trick that goes full AP Nunu and then does the car noises and then screams when he hits someone, right? I think he's an EU. So, yeah. Like, there's a lot more funny people to watch other than robotic, says something here and there, plays League of Legends, wins the majority of the time, right? Good player. Right? What was it? A while ago, someone said people tend to watch you for 3 things or 2 things. You either have a personality, you're funny, you're good at the game, or you know something that other people don't know. Yeah, those 3 things. So, yeah.
But the skinny of it is no. No across the board to every single thing they asked for.
Showcase
Not
balls?
only
Dang.
no,
Does
but
he play
if
on
you
that
don't
level?
get your teams and your players to get on that
And that
stage
seems
in
boring,
2 weeks,
yeah.
we've already delayed it. We're not going to delay it again. We will cancel the summer split as a whole. Not only will we cancel the summer split, but we
I
will
wonder if they've already
cancel
canceled
North
it.
America's attendance into
I'm
Worlds.
filming this
You
on
guys
the
won't even be
2nd
able to go to the Super Bowl if you
of
don't
June.
listen to our requests to play.
That's it. And that's what you can do whenever you're God. And I hope all these people, everybody else, it's like buying up and investing in these esports teams realizes that everything that you do, you are building a foundation on sand. And if the company decides to change things or people's interests change, all of the money that you invested, it goes into the garbage.
That's
True. I hate League of Legends. Like, realistically, I love playing League of Legends. It's my addiction game. But at the same time, I hate the game a lot because the game is so stale. But also for these League of Legends players, they probably hate the game as much too. Honestly, like, it's League of Legends is one of the few games that makes me like bipolar as hell. Right? You win a game, you're feeling so happy, and the next game there's a Smurf on the other team that goes 10-0 and just craps on your entire team. So yeah. But maybe this will make the players, the orgs, learn something, or maybe the players in the orgs will just be like, "Hey, vacation time. We got other stuff that we can do too. We can just talk to other orgs, maybe play against them, maybe stream those scrims or whatever, maybe sell some more merch. I don't know. They can do a lot of stuff."
That's it, plain and simple. Now, there do seem to be some conversations and negotiations that have opened up between the Player Association and Riot Games, which hopefully creates some amicable solution. But they got a problem over at Riot Games headquarters, and I think the solution is actually allow teams to join from the minor leagues. I think that's it. I think full stop. All right? And maybe you don't even give them in the rev share. Maybe you pay them out. You subsidize it for some amount of years and then slowly trickle them into the rev share. I don't know. But do something to help NA League because it is dog shit right now and it
True.
needs to get better so that esports as a whole can get better. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Subscribe. Have a good one. See you later. Goodbye.
Nice,
Have a good one. Goodbye.
All right. I think the problem is that
Oh, so you also going to watch what Tyler
problem is
one
it's
said?
boring play.
Okay, cool. We'll just go through
That's
that
it.
too. This video's already
Boring
long enough,
player.
but hey, we'll just keep on going.
Boring players, boring games.
True.
Remember that one time there was this one guy in the league tournament that did a front flip onto the stage? He did like a dark...
That was Faker. It wasn't a front flip. It was a front roll. and everyone saw that. People in the audience probably were like, "Oh, that's cool," but everyone watching that, we all thought that was a little embarrassing. All right, we felt embarrassed.
Souls
He
roll.
never did it
Faker?
again.
Was that Faker? Yeah, that was probably one of the coolest things that's ever happened in a league event. Isn't that just fucking
was-
like
it was a
that's
big
so
cringe.
sad?
You know, if Faker came out with nunchucks, Bruce Lee, backflip, stance, I would have freaked the fuck out. Hey, right? But I think that little, Dark Souls front flip,
Like I never see anything exciting about this. It's not just boring players, but they're importing players who are mediocre in their home regions. NA is just mediocre at its finest. Maybe. I don't even know what to say. Every sport today is boring like robots. No, I don't think so. I think basketball is entertaining. I think basketball is the only sport that I would say is entertaining to watch. And like the players do all kinds of crazy shit. Like LeBron, UFC is actually another really good point. Yeah. Like, yeah, UFC also is some dumbass shit that happens all the time. Basketball's ass. I think basketball is great. I do say that I probably would like UFC more. I just don't really watch a lot of it because I just don't really spend a lot of time watching
I think
stuff.
UFC is entertaining as hell.
What's this here? McGregor was so entertaining. Yeah,
Yeah.
McGregor was a complete
McGregor was
fucking
entertaining
dickhead,
as
an absolute
fuck.
asshole, totally trashy, and he was so great for UFC because he
Yeah.
was like the perfect villain.
I'm pretty sure in one of the interviews with Dana White, they said that Conor McGregor was like one of the biggest numbers bringer in all of UFC. And so like even Ronda Rousey says it too. right? The reason why she gets paid the most is because she brings in the most numbers, the most viewers. So, hey, the more you shit talk, the more better you're at, fighting and stuff. Hey, you get paid more, and it's a lot more entertaining for the viewers too.
It's like
Bring in
people
more
either
money.
loved him or they love to hate him. It's the same as like Jake Paul. Everybody tunes in to watch Jake Paul fight because they either want to see him win or they want to see him lose.
True, same thing
It's
for
one or the
KSI.
other. Watch Tyler One's take on this. All right, let's watch this.
You know what, the LCS walkout? Dude, why do people come here and ask me this? I told you. Listen, I'll say it one more time. Okay, so my whole thing with this is,
I think I've
been
mentioned
saying
this
for
earlier.
years, every single player in Academy, as soon as they feel like they've made it. Academy players feel like they've made it. A lot of them stop playing solo queue. They've already played LCS and dropped to Academy. It's like a comfortable home, and they get an Academy and they're comfortable, and they're just paycheck thieves. They just get money for free, like $70K a year for free for doing the bare minimum of anything, right? There's no brand. They're not making the orgs they're in stronger. They're not popular. There's nothing. They're not doing anything. So they're
Yeah, they're
it's
just playing League of Legends. Like, the fuck?
Yep.
somebody said it's like 75 per player, it's like 600,000 a year. Bro, that's just
I think it's
bleeding.
60K.
There's no,
It's like 60K
no
plus.
org is keeping that, making that money back. I'd say out of the 600,000, whatever that it was for an academy team, fuck your, I'm just gonna dodge. Anyway, what was I saying? So let's say an academy team, they have to pay them like 600 salary, grand. I don't know if that includes housing or whatever. Bro, I would argue that out of that $600,000 that per year an LCS team is getting from that, probably less than $50,000 worth of revenue, if anything. So it's just a bleed. They're just bleeding.
So nobody's spending money on the teams. People aren't buying. They're not buying the jerseys.
Because we're going off of Tyler One's example, right? The guy who's not building his brand, played LCS, went to Academy, perfectly fine with being stagnant in life. Perfectly fine with just waking up playing League of Legends, playing a little bit good in the, doing the bare minimum in his Academy games, right? His org is bleeding money. He's not bringing in revenue. He's not a streamer for the, for the org or anything, right? He's not doing anything to prop himself up. But instead, he's just taken from the org. Yeah, it's...
You'd say, well, it's to develop talent.
bad.
Bro, those academy players are not leaving academy. 90% of academy, they will never, ever, 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 ever see LCS. Never. Never. They know that. The pros know that. The coaches know that. Everybody knows that. They're not going to ever touch the LCS. Everybody knows it. So it's like a comfortable place for them to slowly eat paychecks. For nothing. Sure, they maybe
He's
sprint.
talking about the NACS teams, right?
He's talking about the Academy.
Or
teams.
NACL or whatever the fuck.
Yes.
Yeah, he is. Okay, the minor league. I mean, this is a very, very good point.
It is.
Why are they being paid to do nothing?
The LCS team, sure they maybe do this, do that, but whatever. Okay? And it's been like this way for years, by the way. Years. You see these guys in solo queue, then you stop seeing them. As soon as so-and-so gets signed to Academy, boom, you stop seeing them ever. The biggest one was
That is
Johnson
something that
was
happened.
huge. He was a solo queue grinder, blah, blah, blah. He got him Academy, he had a brief... Wait, is Johnson is he still starting for a team? I don't know. He's in LCS, but you don't see this kid at all. Whatever, bro. It is what it is, right? Then we go to the Pride. Nobody watches
So
that.
what he's saying basically is as soon as they get signed to a team, they view that as like...
They've made it. Yes.
That's like that's their retirement plan.
Yep.
Like, okay, finally, now I can calm down. Now I can stop grinding. Yeah.
Shit, nobody cares. It's just filled up with the old NA pros that has dropped down so they can comfortably make money as they're... By the way, this is all like friendships, by the way. They all just comfortably make money in Academy when they're not good enough to play in the LCS anymore for God knows how long. Don't give me this, it's to nurture NA talent. Nobody, it's on both the teams and the players. Nobody is brought up from Academy. I'm sorry, bro. It's so fucking rare. They're just imported or it's the same old players recycled. It's so hard to get...
That's a good point. They're either recycled or imports. Even though I think the statistic was like 50%, which I don't know how true that is, of all the players in LCS came from Academy, which they just came from Academy. They weren't new players brought up to Academy, right? Because all the players that we know of in LCS right now are all players that we've known for a couple years now. And like, we're not seeing new Academy players like every year or every 2 years, every 3 years. It's just the same old guys, right? I think Beard came back for a bit. Doublelift came back, right? Aframu, I don't know if he's retired or anything, right? We see all these old name players that we've seen since like, what, 2017? Maybe even before that. Back from like season 4, maybe season 5. Like, I know that I Am a Cutie Pie retired, Scar retired, all those people, right? All these old players. I Will Dominate, right? They all retired from Pro League of Legends, right? But we still see some of the old guys. And they're not getting replaced fast enough because we don't got any talent that is good enough to be put up there, as I think.
Brand new players. No, man. So if you're not taking players from Academy anyway, you might as well just stop paying for it. So I feel like people are striking and people are upset. Bro, what was it even doing anyway? Like, I saw those people crying about it. Well, no NA talent. Bro, if we're being honest, there's not any NA, there hasn't been NA talent in years anyway. Why are we just now mad about it? Because, oh, there's no NA talent, so now finally we're just gonna stop bleeding money. We don't have any NA talent anyway, and we're just gonna cancel the teams. But people are like, well, no, we need the teams to have NA talent. There is no NA talent. Nobody was getting promoted anyway. So what they need is they need the teams.
And also, a lot of kids, I don't know why I'm saying kids, but a lot of people who dream of becoming a pro player in League of Legends. It's very hard to even get into Academy in the first place, right? If you're from, like, what, New York, somewhere in the East, North Carolina, whatever, right? Maine, come from all over there, you gotta go to California when the trials are happening and get into the trials and be good enough to be scouted in those tryouts. And then you have to play for a spot in Academy. At least I think that's how it's done, right? And so a lot of kids' dreams, I don't know why I'm waving this back scratchers. A lot of these people's dreams die then and there, right? So is there a lot of good talent in North America? Maybe, right? You could probably look at the, first 100 of challengers, see how many of them are not pros, how many of them are not like streamers, right? Even though I would say a lot of the streamers that are in challenger and get to high elo in challenger, I feel like if you made them an offer, they probably would take it, maybe not. I think that'd be really interesting because you're bringing a guy in who has a massive following, if they're a streamer with a big following, and making them come into pro play. I think that'd bring in a lot of viewers, but for the most part, or maybe they're already viewers, and so you maybe not getting a lot more, right? Maybe a couple hundred, maybe 1,000 more. But those are always options.
So when their time in LCS is done, they have a nice little safety blanket. Or if they have a bad split, instead of just getting kicked, they just go to Academy and still low-key make money. It doesn't do anything. No one even watched in LCS. Well, okay, yes. So it was a dead nobody ever watched it anyway. But also, I'm arguing it didn't do anything regardless.
Yeah, not a lot of people watch the Academy games. I tune into the Academy games here and there, but like I'm not into Academy like that, and I barely watch LCS because I tend to just watch the replays of LCK or LPL in the first place because it's just better games, better players, better team fighting, all that stuff, right? So
yes, nobody watched, but none of the players were getting brought up anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I would trust him on this, right? I mean, this dude, doesn't Tyler play League like 12 hours a day?
13,
I mean, I don't know how you can do that, by the way. Like, I really don't get it. But yeah, this is what he does.
So if nobody watched, but a considerable amount of players were promoted to LCS.
Yeah, if Riot wants to get more people to watch LCS, bring Tyler 1 into
Kha'Zix
LCS.
ban, Kindred ban.
Do
Graves
that.
ban,
Why won't we
Jesus.
make things exciting?
Then sure. But nobody watched.
Yeah.
95% of the players
there it
didn't
is.
see any LCS. I don't know, bro. Why the fuck was it around for so long? I don't know. It shouldn't have been. Orgs did that to themselves, though. I'm not saying that's not the truth. There's for sure players that should have got signed from Academy that never seen LCS. for sure. I'm not saying that's not the case. Yes, there's no passion. NA pros have no passion. Bro, I've been saying it. They get their fucking spot. Swap me, you piece of shit. Who's one of the players not promoting LCS? Again, that's the
Swap me.
What the coaching positions. Which it's not like all the coaches and all the faculty and the staff of the team is not NA. There's some not NA, but they should have also tried. The thing.
Belt, that's support? Eh. That's still pretty bad, but God, what games are Taiwan getting into? Kane, Evelyn jungle, Mal's mid, Mal's or support, Kane top, all these picks. What's going on?
The thing about that is, players who do try and don't fucking pop off at the beginning are instantly dropped back down to academy. So like that's a good spot for them. But they're never brought. It's gonna be Kane top, but they're never brought back up. You know, it's a waste of time based on a single record. Yeah, true. And then on top of all this shit, we suck. And again, I mean they suck. LCS, NA.
They, the pro players, not me.
Suck. So it's like, dude, we just need to like pick our hill to die on. Do we want to? So we're already gonna suck, right? Do we want to pretend that we care, or do we want to embrace sucking and just become like full for fun content?
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, and even Asmongold. Make it entertaining. Make it a shit show. Even though the skill level is pretty bad, that's already a shit show. But make it a funny shit show. An entertaining one, at least. Right?
Enemies all XLCS washed up
Give
players.
me a crit
Not all of
thrush.
it, but majority, yes. A lot of it, yes, bro.
Jesus.
Yes. And players who will
Give me
never
a
be given
brand
a
jungle.
shot. So what is
Lulu
the point of
jungle.
having an academy team in the first place? There is none. There is no point.
Give me a
So they said,
Scion
"Fuck
Lee
it."
Sin bot.
Got rid of them. Saved themselves millions over the years.
Yeah, that's
Fudge,
yeah.
Licorice, IMT, Immortals lineup, Lucio, Tenacity, JoJo, Danny, all from Academy. How did like all but like 6 of those players do? Or all but like 3 of those players do? Right? And when did they get into the league and start? Bro, that's like one split. And they've both bounced around. They've almost all bounced around from Academy to LCS to Academy to LCS, like just bouncing back and forth.
Yeah. I said it before, like Tyler 1 said it too. They go back, come back, right? I've said it, he said it. Yep. There's no real, I can't say there's no real new talent that's popping and hanging out. Because I think Danny was really new. Jojo Pyun, I think, was really new. Right? 2 new guys came from Academy, went to EG, I think. They won the split, were really good. Jojo Pyun stayed. Danny, I think after Worlds, Danny pieced out, right? Mentality thing. So, yeah.
Jesus, man. God fucking damn.
Yep.
Is this better than...
Didn't mean to do that. But, yep. It is what it is. That's what's going to happen. So... rough stuff. Rough stuff. But that's all for today. That was a very interesting video. If you guys have anything you like, please subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. So yeah, peace out.